right, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So on behalf of the Independence Chamber of Commerce and the City of Independence, welcome to First Friday. Before we hear from our great speakers, we have 5 great speakers talking about 3 really important subject matters this morning. But before we get started, we're going to hear from our business sponsor. And what you need to know about business sponsorship for First Friday is no business sponsor, no coffee, no fun. So here this morning, responsible for our business sponsorship and all of the amazing coffee that will result in fun is my insurance agent, Bo Dennis from Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bo Dennis. I'm with Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles Insurance. First off, I'd like to introduce some members of our team at Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles. We've got Morris Zamora, Garrett Webster, Bill Newkirk, and Doug Buckles are here with Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles. Just a little bit about our insurance agency here in town. We were the product of a merger back in 1989, so in October of this year, we'll be celebrating our 30th anniversary together at Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles. So we're excited about that. And prior to that, we actually were the product of a merger. I began with Gilmore, Dennis & Miller Insurance, which was on East Main Street, and the Newkirk Turner Agency was on West Main Street. And so we were friendly competitors back in those days, and then decided it might be best just to join together and bring our knowledge together and hopefully serve the community better and also Southeast Kansas. We are, when we combined, we have offices in Coffeyville, Caney, Fredonia, and Neodesha as well. So we're pretty spread out, and we serve a lot of Southeast Kansas and also into Oklahoma. So in any event, we are glad to be here, glad to sponsor First Friday, and hope to support Independence for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. They're also the reason why we have all the swag on the tables. So you can measure the snow with that rain gauge that's on the table. There's chip clips, there's planners and koozies and all kinds of things. I highly recommend those calendar strips, though. The long things that are the calendars. If you've never seen those before, they fit perfectly right at the top of your keyboard, and it's a year at a glance, and I can't function without one. So there's some on your tables, and then I believe we have some extra over on the information table. And if you need more, you can stop by their office. I think they have plenty there at the office, too. So, all right. So as I said, First Friday is co-sponsored by the Chamber and the City of Independence. It's a free event. It's open to the public. So we're glad to see we set up for well over 100, and I don't see that many empty seats in the room. So I'm glad that so many people got up extra early this morning to start your First Friday with us here at the Civic Center. We do have lots of information that we want to share with you. As I always say, the Chamber tries to be the central hub of information. We try to find new and inventive ways to get information out to you. Some of the things that I want to remind you of is always look at the city's website, the Chamber's website, their Facebook pages for both. We put things in the newspaper. We flash things out to our Chamber memberships. We try to get all kinds of information out. If you have information that you want out and you're not seeing it out in the public, be sure and let us know, and we'll do our best to be able to help you get the word out. So if you wouldn't mind this time, get that calendar out from underneath your program. It's 2-sided. It's chock full of amazing bits of information. And we're going to quickly go through some of the things. I'm going to highlight some things that I want you to pay extra attention to. So As always, be sure and check out the library's Facebook page. They have a ton of library programming. Eclectics Art Gallery has all kinds of amazing opportunities, so check out their Facebook page. And then the first thing out of the chute is recycling. So as you know, or you may not know, recycling is always on the first Saturday of the month and every Tuesday from 11 to 1. And two of our guest speakers this morning are going to be talking about some changes at the recycling center where they're going to be accepting more than just recycling. So listen up when they start talking about that. But also I wanted to bring your attention to a change at the recycling center regarding plastics. Typically we used to take 1 through 7, but that is changing. The company that takes our recyclables can only take 1s and 2s. And you're like, what is a 1 and a 2? So a 1 is your clear plastic water bottles, even if it's Mountain Dew and it's green. As long as it's clear, these are your 1s. Take your lids off and put them in a bag all by themselves. Your 2s are your cloudy jugs and bottles. So that would be your vinegar bottles and your milk jugs. Take the lids off, wash them out, and put them in a bag. Do not bring me your butter tubs or anything else. Those are the 2 things that we can take, and please put them in separate bags. Alrighty, and then the Lions Club would want me to tell you that their bean feed is tomorrow, so be sure and support the Lions Club and all of their endeavors. Main Street event is in here tomorrow night. That's why we have a saloon in the back of the room. It's Boots, Buckles, and Main Street, and we're excited to support them. I wanted to point out a couple of bingo options. I went to After Prom Bingo the other night, had a great time, and if you missed out and you're a bingo lover, you have two opportunities. We have bingo at the VFW every Monday evening. It's lots of fun. And on March the 14th, Country Place Senior Living also does a community bingo where you can go to their facility and play bingo as well. So mark those on your calendar. March the 4th and the 5th, the middle school will have some concerts. And also if you go down to April the 2nd and April the 8th, the high school will have a concert and the college will have a concert on the 18th and I believe again on the 8th and the 18th. So lots of band concerts, choir concerts, and all kinds of things to put on your calendars. We're taking reservations, and they close on Tuesday for Celebrate Independence. Celebrate Independence is a quarterly event that the Chamber does. It's open to the public, and we always celebrate something. And this particular time, we're celebrating regional manufacturing. We have 3 great speakers. We'll have Jeff Collins, who's the plant manager at Spears Manufacturing in our county, but outside of Independence. We will also have the general manager from Cobalt Boats outside of our county, but in Neodesha, Kansas. That's Terry Clark. We all know and love him. And then we will also be having Steve Reed, who lives in Independence, works in Coffeyville, at John Deere Coffeyville Works, and he will be talking about his facility as well. Tricia Purden will be our MC. Tickets are $10. Again, it's open to the public. It's a luncheon, so be sure and call the office and let us know if you want to get a ticket for that. We also are going to be doing some, what I used to call 1-minute shout-outs, and now it's a 30-second splash because they were getting a little over 1 minute. So now we're doing 30-second splashes, okay? So if you come up here and you have the microphone in your hand, it's a 30-second gig. And I've got some people already lined up who are going to be talking about some things happening. Their flyers are going to be flashed up on the wall there, and you'll be able to get a little bit more information about some things that are listed on our calendar, such as the job fair that's coming up, so you're going to be seeing some of that as well. I want to point out on March the 8th, school is not in session, and that is our first leadership program. It's Career Discovery. And what that means is we have high school sophomores who are out in the community getting opportunities to be in many of your locations, getting firsthand experience with job shadowing. And this morning we actually have one of our job shadowers with us. He is here this morning. He was at our commission meeting last night, and because we couldn't make it work on next Friday when he's not in school, we matched him up with his business professional this morning, and we have Caleb Johnston, who is right behind. There you go, Caleb. Stand up, Caleb, so we can see in your orange and black. He is job shadowing with videographer Laurie McCune. So welcome to First Friday, Caleb. Glad you're here. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. There's lots of other things listed, and some of them are going to be in our 30-second splashes at the end, so I will let them talk a little bit more about sharing some information with you. But at this time, we're going to keep on schedule, and we're going to start our presentations this morning. Our first speaker is no stranger to the podium. She is representing Coffeyville Regional Medical Center. She will be introducing 4 new care navigators. Would you please welcome Melissa Summer?
Thanks, Lisa. Good morning, everybody. I have to start out with just a little personal note. I've been here just a little over 3 years now, and first few times I came to First Friday and even going shopping around town, I knew nobody. Lisa was probably the first friendly face I met. But standing here today, I look out and I see so many people that have been so kind to me and my family since I've been here and friends. So thank you for welcoming us into this place. We really enjoy it here. This morning, I want to talk about care navigation services. Some of you may not even know what care navigation services are. Nurses, doctors have been doing care navigation for years and years and years. And about 20 years ago, there was a big push to try and emphasize the care navigation role because of the importance that it plays in patient care. So let me see. Is this my jigger? Okay, so what is care navigation? Care navigators link patients and families to essential health care needs in the community, inside the healthcare system, and within the community. They help coordinate care across the healthcare delivery system and sometimes outside of that system. So we want people, patients, and families to be actively engaged in their health care. So if we have a care navigator in place, we can help you accomplish that a lot easier. So how does care navigation help you? The benefit of the navigator is to help the patient through the healthcare system. It's crazy enough when you go to healthcare or go to your physician visit and you have a diagnosis of something. It's very hard sometimes to navigate yourself and figure out what you need to do. So care navigators kind of take that burden off of you, and they really do support you and help you through that process. So that's important. It's important to me. It should be important to you and your family members to know that if you have something going on in your life healthcare-wise, you've got an advocate for you. So before I introduce our first care navigator, I have to give you just a little bit of history about how this navigator came to be. In 2017, Dr. Krieger and Dr. White retired from our hospital. They had been the radiologists there for many, many years and served our community so well. We were very fortunate to get Dr. David Guchenritter to come to our facility. He is an interventional radiologist and brings a lot of procedures to our hospital and to the area that haven't been done before. And in doing those procedures, a lot of time you have to have a nurse with you during those procedures. So he does things like pain management treatments, kyphoplasties, nerve ablations, and cancer pain control, which is something he's very passionate about. So we're very fortunate to have him. He's from the area. He loves coming to Coffeyville. He loves coming to Independence. So we're very fortunate to have him. Sorry, Lisa, this is kind of slow. Is it going? There we go. Okay, so the next piece to this Care Navigator is in November of last year, we purchased and installed a brand new 3D Genius mammography unit in our hospital. It's one of the state-of-the-art pieces of equipment out there for mammography. As you can see, Cheryl Crow is their national spokesperson. She is a breast cancer survivor, and she detected her breast cancer herself and kept being an advocate for herself and going back and going back. So we're very fortunate to have this piece of equipment at our hospital. It gives a 30% less dose of radiation when you have your mammogram, and greater accuracy, greater detailed images. And with that said, there we go. I want you to meet our first care navigator. Christy McCullough, you want to stand up? Christy is a surgical services nurse who came over to medical imaging because of the procedures Dr. Kuchenritter is performing at our hospital. But the best thing, and we've been trying to do this for a very long time, is Christy is going to be our very first and the region's only breast health nurse navigator. Might not sound like much to you guys, but to us women, that is a phenomenal thing to have. So this means that if a female comes to our hospital and has a mammogram and we have an abnormal mammogram, Christy's going to work with our physicians and all of the outlying physicians to have standing orders in place so we can take you right from that point to whatever follow-up we need, whether that be an ultrasound or whatever that process is for the next step if we have an abnormal mammogram. And for anybody that's ever heard the 3 words, "you have cancer," that is an amazing thing to know, that we don't have to go home, wait for an appointment with our primary care, go back and get that reading, and then make another appointment for a follow-up. We're going to cut that middle part out, and that is amazing for our women. And I'm so happy that our administrators understand that. Laurie was all on board with having this navigator in place. So Christy's going to do a great job, and what a great thing for our community. The second navigator I want to introduce you to is Judy Carpenter. You want to stand up, Judy? Yeah. Judy's a hometown girl who's come back to take care of her community and give back. A couple years ago, we launched a Women in Wellness program, which is a free membership program to women 18 and over in the area. And what we do is we provide support, education, and care navigation to our members. And so Judy has a huge passion for women's health. So what this means is if any of our ladies call the care navigation line, you're going to get me. I answer the phone. It comes to my line. It doesn't go to anywhere else. It comes to me. So if a woman has a question about her health care, if she's been diagnosed with something and doesn't understand it, I'm going to get her in touch with Judy, and she's either going to call them back, or they can come in and meet with her. Free consultations to talk about it. If you're new to the area and you need a doctor and you want to talk to somebody, you don't know where to go, you can come in and we can sit down and we can talk with you. So it's a free service. It's a great service, so we hope that the women will take part of it. Okay, the next person I want to introduce you to is Jennifer Winch. Another hometown girl. She is the director of our Women's Health Services, and I can't tell you how much Jennifer bends over backwards to help our ladies that are coming in, either for having their baby. This might be their first time having a baby, and she shows them around if they're concerned about having a C-section because they know that's what they have to have. Jennifer takes the time with them, sits down, explains the procedures, takes them to the surgical suite, which is on the women's unit. We have our own dedicated surgical suite. So she spends a lot of time with them. We also have maternal and infant program here at the Independence Clinic, and that's run by Nancy Barkley. She's not here today, but that's another service that we provide to our young moms of the area. The next one on our list is Miss Vicki Portwood. Stand up, Vicki. And again, I get real emotional when I talk about cancer patients because I know how devastating it can be to hear those words. I've heard them myself, but I also know how devastating it can be to the family members. So Vicki Portwood is the director of our cancer treatment services, and I can't tell you the countless hours she spends care navigating for our patients. She looks for ways to help them get the medications they need. She works with them on side effects of cancer treatment, how to maintain them, how to manage them, how to hopefully make them go away. Anything that she can do to make it easier on our cancer patients, she does. So, Vicki, we're very happy to have you. And last but not least, I want to introduce Kelly Kaiser. Kelly Kaiser is a ball of fire. If you've been around her, she's got more energy than any 8-year-old you've ever been around. But she is our chronic care management nurse. And what that means is if you are seeing one of our primary care physicians and you have 3 or more chronic disease conditions, you can be referred to Kelly. And Kelly will take over helping you manage those diseases. Things like heart failure, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, COPD, all of those things. She sits down and talks with them about their medication. What are you taking? Are you taking them correctly? Because a lot of times people don't. She gives them a notebook. You ought to see this notebook they get. It has everything in there that they would ever need for any reason. It has their medication list, outside visits, blood pressure logs, weight logs, all the things that they need to help control their condition. So it's a great service. She also is the Montgomery County Coordinator for Kansas Self-Management Education. So she coordinates care in our county. And right now we've got one of the classes, Living with Chronic Conditions, is being held at the Independence Library right now. So we're very happy. How many people do we have in that one? 10 people. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to introduce, I'm just about done. I told you I was going to get done early, Lisa. I want to introduce the people at our table because I think it's important for you to see the people that are at our hospital, be able to have contact with them and put a face to a name. Laurie, you want to stand up? Laurie Winkle is our CEO, and I have to say one thing. I've been in healthcare for 28 years, and no matter what question might come up at the hospital, whether it's about equipment or something else that's going on, her very first question 100% of the time is, what's best for the patient? You don't get that very often. So thank you, Laurie, for being such an awesome leader. Becky McCune, she's our Chief Operating Officer. Very hard-working gal, never stops. Get emails from her in the middle of the night, early in the morning. It doesn't matter. She's on it, and we appreciate all of her effort because she's a hard-working girl. Vicki, we've met. Judy, Jennifer, Kelly, Christy, and this is Nellie. Stand up, Nellie. Nellie Mendoza. She is our patient and guest representative. So if you are ever at our hospital, if you are an inpatient or an outpatient or you're there with a family member, you're probably going to see Nellie because she rounds every day, twice a day, making contacts, making sure everything is okay with your stay and things like that. So we've got an awesome crew. We're celebrating our 70th anniversary this year. You'll see some community celebrations going on, and we appreciate you letting us be here. Our care navigation number is up on the board. Write it down. It comes to me. I answer it all the time, and if I don't answer, I promise I'll call you right back. And if you have any questions, our care navigators will be here after the program, or if you have questions for me, we'll be here to answer those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do. And, we were talking about the first leadership program, but we actually have an adult leadership program, and Laurie Winkle is part of that class this year. So we're glad to have her on board. I'm going to pass the clicker to a very familiar face and maybe a face that is not so familiar. So next up we have city representation here. We have David Cowen and a new young professional that we recruited to Independence, Taylor Dyke, and they are going to talk to us all about the results of the strategic plan, in particular strategic directive number 3 and ways that we can beautify our community. So would you please welcome David Cowen and Taylor Dyke.
Thank you, Lisa. As always, how she does everything she does, I don't know. I mean, my house is right next to the chamber, and I think you live there 24/7. It's just amazing what she does. It's my honor to be here today on behalf of the City of Independence, and going to introduce in a minute Taylor and talk to you about the strategic plan. And I think it's very important for the community to realize what our city manager, Craig Whitehead, has brought to the city these past couple of years. Strong customer service, a leadership team that is top-notch. There isn't anybody on our team that won't go out of their way to do an excellent job for you, whether that's from the police chief, fire EMS chief, assistant city manager, on down. Just a top-notch team. And the amount of work that we're putting out is just amazing to see what is happening in the city. So we're here today to talk about the strategic plan. There's five directives. We're talking about directive number 3 today. And I can tell you when Sean and I were faced with this directive, we sat down and we were puzzled. it's a challenge. Fire EMS is a very busy department. We handle over about 230 calls a month, and trying to do code enforcement with our captains while they're trying to manage EMS and fire calls and everything else, it just wasn't working. And Sean and I knew we had to do something different. We went to Craig. We had an unfilled position in the budget. We did not create a position. We did not add to the tax rolls. And we went to Craig and we said, we need some help. This is a full-time effort if we want to make any dent in beautification of the city. And with his support, we were able to add a code enforcement officer, which joins our fire EMS staff along with Don Cushing, who's our building department officer, and now we have Taylor as a code enforcement officer. Our next step was I went to April Nutt, who is with me on the beautification process. April is very involved in everything. As you know, she is, without her, I mean, she's a right-hand man. And we formed a team, and we call it, thanks to April, the Community Advisory Committee for Blight and Beautification. Because we know this isn't something we can achieve overnight. It isn't something that we can shove down your throats. We have to work together as both the city and the citizens to make a change in our community. And we needed not only some great staff members, we had the chief of police, Sean, different staff members. We needed some members from the public that could help direct us as we figure out some ideas of how to change. And we reached out to Lisa Wilson, Jerry, and Steve McBride and Julie Isley to help give us some navigation as we go through this process. What I'm talking about today and what Taylor's going to be talking about is just a small part of what this directive does. We're going to be coming back to you. We're going to work with Lisa to give quarterly updates. Craig's creating a dashboard that will be on our webpage where you can watch all of our directives. We're going to be working for a social media presence, all in an effort to keep the community apprised of what's going on and what our efforts are to make a change to our community. Because this is a great community. Came here 33 years ago, didn't plan on staying long. 33 years later, I'm still here. I love this community. There's a lot of great things. It's the most giving community I have ever seen. And I think a lot of people will tell you that. So without further ado, I want to introduce Taylor. And I can tell you she knocked our socks off when we interviewed her. Sean and I immediately knew this was the person for the job. So Taylor.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for, would you hand me that clicker? Sorry. Thank you for letting me be here and speak with you today. The beautification directive came out, because you may have noticed that the physical appearance of Independence has declined in recent years. And this includes multiple abandoned houses, deterioration of numerous homes, yards cluttered with refuse and junk, and littered sidewalks and streets. By applying environmental city codes already in place, beautification will be a natural result, but not without some expected pushback, and like David said, it's not expected to be done overnight. While code enforcement is necessary, we don't want residents to feel like this is coming out of nowhere. We want to properly inform people of what is expected and give them the tools that they need to bring their properties up to code. Even though our ultimate goal is beautification, we want to accomplish it by educating the public, partnership, and building relationships within the community. And this is why the Community Advisory Committee has been brainstorming to come up with what are called quick wins, things that can be accomplished in a short amount of time and that will have a positive impact. So on our list, 60-day grace period, we've developed door tags and condemnation signs, and we're going to start using abandoned vehicle stickers. And then we're also going to talk about some sanitation opportunities, which is a positive spin. So, as far as the 60-day grace period, if I can get it to go, it'll be from March 1st through April 30th. People will have plenty of warning that the city will soon be applying these codes on a more intentional basis. We're going to help educate people about the codes that they have to abide by, and they may not even know that they are violating a code or several, and this will give them time to figure out what the city codes are and how to fix them before enforcement begins. And once the grace period ends, first-time offenders will be granted a grace period as well. If they show they're making progress, then we can extend deadlines. If the public is willing to work with us, then we are certainly willing to work with them. So our quick win number 2 is the development of door tags. These will hang on their front door and explain which code they are violating. And this, I'm going to leave it with them whether they're home or not. But this, if they're not home, at least they know that a formal letter is coming to them in the mail instead of having to wait a few days before they find out. The door tag will explain to them that a formal letter is on the way, and it will be more detailed. And there's also going to be a link to the city website. And on the next slide, I have, this is the proof that we have ordered. It shows the front part of the door tag, and it lists the code that they are violating. I'll probably put a little description on there describing it, where they can find the list of city codes, and my contact information. And on the back, we're going to list some resources that will help them abate those violations. There's the sanitation yard location and the phone number, information about curbside pickup, and tire disposal. And so that will be helpful to them to figure out, what to do. The next signs are condemnation signs. These are signs that will show that homes have been deemed condemned. We do hope that these structures can be salvaged, but this lets the community know that we are aware that it's a problem. We're working with the owner on steps they need to take, and the sign will reference the resolution at the bottom of the sign. And there it is. So that's an example of that. We've also developed some, I think I'm ahead of it. This is the abandoned vehicle sticker, and it's for those that are unlicensed, inoperable, or abandoned, and they warn that they're going to be towed if they're not taken care of. Of course, like the rest of these things, if they're willing to work with us, give us timelines, then we can extend these deadlines. And just to clarify, these are used for vehicles that are on someone's property, not in the street. Okay, so our sanitation opportunities. During the 60-day grace period, the city is offering free access to dumpsters for city residents each weekend in March and April. 6 yellow dumpsters will be strategically placed in different neighborhoods throughout this period. Acceptable items include accumulated junk, debris, hard to dispose of materials such as construction scraps and small appliances. Maps and schedules for dumpster placement will be published on the city's website, and updates will be provided on the city's Facebook page. Residents can bring trash to the city sanitation yard on Tuesdays during the regular recycling collection time of 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and this extra time to drop off is an indefinite change, not just during the 60-day grace period. They also accept trash and recycling, as you know, on the first Saturday every month from 8 to noon. The city also offers free curbside pickup of certain items. Residents can call the city and ask them to come pick up approved items such as appliances, furniture, and bedding. This is also an existing source, but we're going to put it on the back of the door tag, like I said, so that they know that it's an option. Like I said, we want to give citizens every opportunity to help themselves and to work with us on the beautification of the city. Partnering with community members and building relationships will help make this goal attainable. If at all possible, we want to assist residents in avoiding potential fines or penalties in the future. And by allowing them a 60-day grace period, free access to dumpsters, increased sanitation yard access, and knowledge of the city code of ordinances, we hope to make the transition to a more beautiful Independence as productive and successful as possible. So on this last slide is my contact information, and that will be basically broadcasted, so people can contact me if they have any questions or concerns or, anything like that. So thank you for letting me speak with you.
So we do have a few minutes. So typically we field questions at the end, but do you have any questions for Taylor or David regarding any of the changes that will be coming up? Yeah, go ahead, Carolyn.
I may have misinformation, but I think from the past that, like abandoned vehicles on the street, you have to actually have a neighbor's complaint or somebody's complaint before the city can do anything about it. Am I misinformed?
Well, that the street abandoned vehicles are actually the police department's area.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, Jerry.
Jared, do you want to address that?
Yeah, if you got an abandoned vehicle that you need or you're concerned about, just give us a yell, we'll come take it out.
But it takes a complaint before.
Not necessarily, but, that's not the only thing we do, so. Best thing to do is give us a call, let us know about it.
sure. Yes. Oh. Okay, he said to call if you notice. It doesn't just take a phone call in order to get rid of an abandoned vehicle on the street, but to make them aware, go ahead and give them a call. Anybody else? Oh, sure, go ahead.
If city crews come out and work on, like, let's say, a leak in the park right by your street, and the site that they worked on is left in worse condition than when they started it, who do we talk to?
If you have an issue, just call 332-2506, which is Kelly, and she will then direct it to where the right department so that we come take care of that. 332-2506, which is the city manager's office. Kelly answers that, and Kelly can then figure out. Otherwise, you may be calling utilities or the street to figure out, and she'll be able to figure that out and get so that we can come and correct that.
Because I always have to say something. The biggest part of this is it's a partnership. They alluded to the partnership. It is a partnership. So when we say, yes, you need to call in, city, you want city to do what's their job, and they're out doing that. But if you see something, and yes, they're turning things in themselves, but I drive by my house, and I still have a Christmas tree out front. Seriously, April. I just drive by and I don't pay attention to it. It hit me last night. Now that's how sad it is. But we just don't see things. So please, we're trying to empower the public to participate in you helping us clean up our own community. So if you see something, don't be shy. Go on the website. There's a place that you can, put in a concern or ask a question. The other thing is call. Please call. 332-2506. Miss Kelly will take your call, and she'll help direct that where it needs to be. But we do want to hear from you, and we want to partner with the community. Okay.
Also, thank you, April. Also, just a side note, just as David mentioned earlier, we're going to, make a bigger impact on social media. So we're going to work on rolling that out, and that's also going to be an avenue for you to report things. And again, it's going to be you can be unanimous or anonymous, not unanimous. So anyway, that'll be another avenue that you can contact us. So, any other questions or comments?
I just might make a comment, by the way, I'm the 332-2506, but also you can go on the website, on the city website, independenceks.gov, and it says request a service, and you can also turn them in on that site as well, 24/7, so that's another option. And also our Facebook page, we do monitor that, you can send us messages on that as well.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
One more thing. I have found, since I lived there, that it is much more effective and will get done much quicker if you turn in the citizen request thing online. I've had a request that I verbally expressed over the phone to the gals where I pay the water bill, and it's not gotten done, and I know it's because I haven't done the online thing. It gets done a lot quicker if you do it that way.
Okay, did everyone hear that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great information. Pretty excited about the city's commitment to helping us clean up the community by making so many of the services free. You know, that doesn't always happen in every community. So we all need to take advantage of those free opportunities. And remember now, when we see you at recycling, you can also bring your couch and your mattress and your hot water heater, and you can get rid of all of that stuff as well. So I'm going to raise the microphone up a little bit, and we have to get to work because they said the dumpsters are out over the weekends through March and April, and hopefully that will wrap up around April the 30th. So we have a lot of work we have to get done by May 22nd because that is the William Inge Theater Festival. And here to talk to us this morning about the festival and all that brings to our community is one person, Hannah Joyce Hoven, who spent some time in Independence from 2003 to 2012 with her family, raising her daughter, having another baby, and being a vital part of the community. She is coming back to us from Minnesota, and she is bringing with her another individual who absolutely loves the William Inge Theater Festival. He has been coming for, I think, about 7 years. He's a freelance TV actor and does a lot of film, and he's probably no stranger to you if you pay attention to some commercials. But at this time, I would like to welcome Hannah Joyce Hoven and Chuma Galt.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, everybody here. Thank you, Independence Community College, Dan Barwick, I think you're back there, for bringing us back. It's a gift to be in this room with all of you. I'm looking around, and I see so many people I know, who I've worked with, who I've had food with, who have made this community my home, so it feels like a homecoming. For those of you who don't know, I feel like you're still part of my life here in some way, and I look forward to hoping you come to the festival this year. So, how many in this room have been to the William Inge Theater Festival? Great, so maybe half and half. So the William Inge Theater Festival was started here almost 40 years ago. William Inge was a playwright from Independence. He grew up actually just around the corner on 4th Street. He became very well known around the country. He won a Pulitzer Prize. He won an Oscar. Many of you have probably seen some of his plays. Picnic is a big one that everybody loves, and they do at the high schools and the colleges often. Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe, Splendor in the Grass that had Warren Beatty and Natalie Wood. So he had quite a long career. But later in his life, he felt like he wasn't being recognized, like his work didn't matter, and tragically, he took his life. He grew up here. He went to Independence Community College. He had friends and family here. A particular friend, Margaret Goheen, who was still here in Independence, felt that she wanted to celebrate him in some way. She thought that maybe if the community, the country, had given him some support when he was later in his career and still writing, and let him know that his work still mattered, that he still mattered, he might have kept going. So she wanted to do that for other playwrights who had had a life and a body of work that had impacted the national theater community, but maybe they weren't getting feted as much because they were further along in their career. So she did that. She reached out to Jerome Lawrence, who was a playwright, and they started a small festival. It was a one-day festival. It was at Independence Community College, and it was kind of like a scholarly presentation. Well, since then, it has grown into a nationally recognized festival. It's 4 days in the spring, and it has been named the official State Theater Festival of Kansas back in 2010. So it's extraordinary. Here we are in this small town, and we host the State Theater Festival. So the festival celebrates, as I mentioned, a playwright every year. This year, our honoree is named Octavio Solis. He will receive the Distinguished Achievement in the American Theater Award. We also give a smaller award to a more emerging playwright, and this year's playwright is Cara Lee Corthran. They will be coming to Independence to be celebrated, to meet everyone. Octavio has been telling us that he wants to come early so he can spend some time in the community, get to know the town. He's from Texas, and he's written many, many plays, and recently came out with a book that describes his life growing up in El Paso as a Latino person there and a first-generation immigrant. So the library will have his book Retablos, Cara Lee Corthran has just written a young adult novel that will also be featured at the library, so we're excited to get some of their literature out before the festival so you can kind of see what they've been up to. So the festival has been part of the community for almost 40 years, and that's not because of a few staff members at the college who are putting it on. It's actually a huge effort by the community here. I'm looking around this room, and I know so many of you because you have been involved in the festival and worked with us out there. Last night we had a steering committee meeting at the Inge house. Lisa was there. Some of you who are here were there. And it was just a reminder, we have probably 30 different committees because there are so many different aspects of the festival. It touches the town in so many ways. And that's because everyone in the community comes out to make these different events happen. They're sponsoring events. They're putting them on. They're bartending. They're putting out tables and chairs. They're renting spaces. It's incredible. There are so many ways to be involved. So we couldn't do it without this community. It's a super special community. This could only happen here. We have felt, I was here for 9 years, and it became very clear to me that through our programming, we were bringing a lot of artists out from the coasts and from Chicago. We weren't looking locally, and it started to feel a little bit like the festival was this big festival happening on the hill for theater people up at the college, but it wasn't really for our community. And we wanted to make an effort this year to bring the festival back into the community, to remind ourselves that this is of us, for us, from us, and it's only special because of this community. And so we are doing a few things this year that we hope will make it feel like it's coming back into the community. We're going to be hosting more events here in town. We're not going to be catering all of the meals for all the guest artists who are coming out of the college. We're going to be sending them downtown with Main Street bucks from Independence Main Street to frequent the restaurants and the shops. We're lowering prices for all of our tickets so that people can come, so that money isn't a barrier to attend the festival. And we're also going to be offering free childcare to all of our evening events so that, again, childcare isn't a barrier to attendance. The first night of the festival, we are going to have a showing of Coco, the Disney Pixar movie, because our honoree Octavio Solis was the cultural consultant for that movie and was also one of the voices in the movie. If you've seen the movie, probably many of you have seen it more than once. He is the guy who plays the arrivals agent. He's a skeleton and his jaw drops off. He kind of welcomes them to the underworld, so that's our honoree Octavio. And that's going to be Wednesday night of the festival. It'll be at 6:30. We're going to have games for the kids. The movie is free. We just want everybody to come out, and it'll be a way to kind of kick off the community, the summer for the community, the festival, and also introduce everybody to Octavio. So I don't want to keep talking without introducing my partner in crime here. I met Shuma at the festival in 2011, and he's been coming back many, many years ever since. And when Dan called me to see if I could do this remotely, I knew that it would be very difficult to do by myself. So there's a fantastic staff here and volunteers, but we've been kind of bopping around the country lately, just trying to activate people around the festival, engaging students at colleges, etc. So I asked Tuma to be the associate producer, and he's also going to be directing the tribute to Octavio this year. So I'd like to bring him up and introduce him.
I can raise this up a little bit. Yep. All right. Good morning, everybody. Okay, let's try that again. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Great. Okay, so right there, we were just in a little bit of theater together. In the theater, that's what we call and response. That's an old tradition of the theater, often used in the church as well. Your pastor may, or your priest may call out to the congregation and ask you for an amen, and you give them an amen, and that's all part of what theater is. So our big goal this year, when we took over, was to do little things like that to let the town and the people of Independence know that theater and the arts are part of your everyday lives in ways that you may not even realize. But that, of course, you have grown to come to love and appreciate as you get older. And you may even use some of that in raising your kids or dealing with other people out in the world that you come across. So it was important for us, as Hannah said, to come down off the hill and come into town. Myself, like David, came here almost 10 years ago now in the fall as part of what the college was doing as their playwright development project. They invited a playwright out here every fall for a couple of weeks to work on a show and then work on a script and then do a show at the end of it. And I was invited to that from Los Angeles by the playwright at the time, Ellen Lewis, who came out here. And I, too, had the same experience. I was embraced by certainly everybody up at the school, but I was embraced by the town, and I felt very, very comfortable here. That trip, I walked everywhere. I wouldn't let them. I stayed here in town, and right around the corner, and I wouldn't let them drive me anywhere. So I walked everywhere. So I would walk from here out to the school every morning and walk back every night. And often I would stop and take diversions and take pictures. And I ended up with a 140 picture photo album on my Facebook for a few years that I think over 1,000 people saw and I got comments on. So the natural environment here was one of the first things that struck me as beautiful and something that really warmed my heart, that was only matched by all the people here that were and are beautiful and warmed my heart and welcomed me in and fed me way too much. I have to be careful now that I'm getting older. I gotta eat more salad. I wanted to give a shout out right quick to the dates too. So this year, I don't know if we mentioned, we're having it over Memorial Day weekend, and what that's going to allow is for the students to be for it to be easier for the students and their teachers to come to the festival. As you know. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren to leave this place better than when we got it, to give them something to look forward to give them something to aspire and dream and aim for. And music, art, theater, love, brotherhood, fellowship, all those things are what we owe to the next generations coming. So we had a strong focus on making sure that not only did we include all the people who have always been supporters of the Inge Festival in town, but to bring more kids, more high school students, more college students here to really see what it's like to be part of a community, to really see what it's like to put your heart and soul into something and have people recognize it and people love you for it. And there's no better place, really, than here in this festival to do that. So to that end, this year we did, for the first time, Hannah and I traveled to South Dakota, to Sioux Falls in January. Being from LA, that was a little hard. To be a part of the American College Theater Festival competition, which is a competition for playwrights and actors that is broken up into 5 different regions around the country that all compete internally and then send their winners to a national competition in Washington to compete for scholarships and a prize. So we went there to spread the word, first of all, about the festival, because like Hannah said, it has been part of the coastal elites, right? New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, bringing these artists in who have been in movies and on television, and they come and they eat and they drink in private events at night, and then they go up to the college and do their thing, and then they hop in a shuttle and drive back to Tulsa and skedaddle. Now, to be fair, whenever anybody talks to me about Independence and the festival, I am amazed by how many people nationally know about the town and the festival. It is really well known nationally and internationally as a place for theater artists to come and to be recognized. But it was part of our goal to make sure that regionally, within the Minnesota down to Texas corridor, there is a greater influence on the theater makers and the artists in this region. So we went to South Dakota, and we handed out 4 scholarships to young college students to come and be a part of the festival this year. Nobody's ever done that before. And we were in a beautiful arena, really, with about 2,000 people in it. And the roar from the crowd when we announced that they were going to come, have 4 of them come down here, was deafening. It was really kind of heartwarming. It got me a little bit emotional. I'd never really been a part of something like that everybody knew what it was, and they showed how much appreciation for it. So there's going to be 4 young kids coming here, 4 college students coming here, who are just starting out their careers in the arts and who are super excited about being here. So that's one of the programs that we started, and that's one of the reasons why we're having it at the time of year that we're having it. And we're doing something new again this year, like offering childcare. There are so many barriers to a life in the arts. I've been an actor and a director for, how old am I? 20-something years. And it's given me a fantastic life. I've worked really hard, like anything, digging ditches, laying cables, rustling cattle, running a community, running the not community center, it is the Chamber of Commerce. Anything that you dedicate your life to takes hard work, and I've put in a lot of hard work at it. And I've noticed that it has enriched my life and the lives of the people that I'm involved with. When you can read and tell a story. One of the programs we're also having this year is going to be a grant funded to do a storytelling event with Penn Terrace, to take some of the residents of Penn Terrace and teach them how to share some of the stories that they've accumulated over a lifetime with some of the younger people. The arts really enrich your life. They enhance your life in ways that you may not even know. And it's really important in this day and age that we try to enhance the young people's lives with that kind of confidence in themselves and the confidence to go out into the world and share their experiences and spread love and give a little bit more than they're taking away, which is super important right now. So to that end, we're having workshops. We invite everybody to come and be a part of everything from how to act for a movie or for television to how to run a theater company. I spoke about the scholarships. I spoke about the young people that we're bringing in. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just thought I would piggyback with you on our festival programming.
Okay. And then we have a strong volunteer corps, and we encourage anybody who wants to be involved to come and see what it's about, to really be a part of something, to seek one of us out or seek any of the people that you know that might be connected with the Inge. Todd Young is here, and he's going to be doing a lot. Of course, you can talk to Dan there in the back and Leslie right here. Everybody has been involved in some way or another for a long period of time.
And we have a volunteer happy hour tonight at the museum at 7 o'clock. We're offering free drinks and snacks and our pretty faces.
Free drinks.
We're just going to be hanging out.
Snacks.
We're going to have something. We'll talk a little bit about how you can volunteer, but even if you just want to come and get a drink and decide not to volunteer, that's fine. Please come. It'll be at the museum at 7 o'clock. We're just going to hang out, and you can kind of hear about how you might get involved if you are interested.
Oh, there's more. Yeah. So,
Just talk about the events for the week, for the festival week.
all the events that we're having?
Or just, like an overview.
Okay. So we're starting with Coco on Wednesday the 22nd. And it'll be in the parking lot at CNB. And we're going to have face painting and arts and crafts. And we might even have an appearance by Octavio, and we might have some music. So that will be fun. Bring your kids down to come and see that. Then Thursday, we're having workshops, and Thursday night is the reading of the New Play Award, the New Voices Award winner.
No, so, sorry.
That's why I'm the associate producer.
Thursday afternoon, I want to mention that we have Play Labs plays. And for those of you who don't know, we started this about 4 years ago. There have been playwrights coming from across the country for this. This year, there are 20 slots for Play Labs. 250 playwrights from around the country applied for these slots. And mind you, when they apply, they know they're going to be paying registration to come to the festival. So 250 people wanted to pay to come to the festival to attend from around the country. We narrowed it down to 20 really excellent plays. They're 10-minute plays and less than 30-minute plays, so they're short. And those will be happening Thursday and Friday afternoon at the Methodist Church. So you can kind of pop in and stay as long as you like and see quick plays. We, as Chuma mentioned, are bringing actors and directors from the region. So Kansas City, Tulsa, Fayetteville, the area, St. Louis, to come and perform in these plays. So you'll see some really excellent actors who are in the area coming out to perform in these.
So not to throw too many terms at anybody who might not. So a new play lab, anytime you say laboratory when it's in the arts, it means that it's a development process. It means that we're going to invite people in, and there's going to be other people who are experts or professionals who will talk about the stuff that they're bringing. So with the new play labs, what it is readings, actual, not staged action, but readings of plays that are in process, or new playwrights, or budding young playwrights, or playwrights who haven't quite popped yet, are using this opportunity to submit their work and to be critiqued by professionals here that we are inviting in and given advice and counsel on where to go with their work, or where to take their own style, or where to take that individual piece of work that they're bringing. So often what you're going to see is really raw, new, experimental stuff that is focused on the storytelling. And then in the comment process, you'll get a chance to see how they break down that story and tell them to improve it. So that is what the new play lab is. And again, that has a lot of energy to it, and we're very proud of that program because it positions the Inge Festival to be the birthplace for a lot of these people. It positions this festival to be the experience that helps them launch into a new aspect of their career or a new aspect of their life. And our focus is when they can come here and be a part of this community and have the positive experience that many of us have had by coming here and being touched by this place, and then come up to the school and have that professional experience of being mentored and guided and supported, that when they go out into the world and they run around and do whatever it is that they're going to do, they're going to remember this. They're going to talk about this place as the place that gave them that boost of encouragement or that start. They're going to look at this place as we all have that nostalgic place that wrapped its arms around us and supported us when we were first starting and said, you can do it. That's what independence is going to be for them. And we will create people like myself, like Dave, like Hannah, who will go off in our lives and always want to come back and give back to this community. So that's what we're all about.
And then Thursday night, the books I mentioned, Retablos by Octavio Solis and The Truth of Right Now by Carolee Corcoran, they will be reading from selections from their books Thursday night at the Inge Theater, and then we'll have a book signing. We'll have books that people can buy, so please come out for that. It'll be really cool to hear them read from their work.
And then Saturday at Friday, what's Friday?
Friday's the New Voices reading.
You just said that, didn't you?
No, that's Thursday.
That's Thursday. Okay, Friday. You can see how well we work together. She tells me what to do and I do it. Friday is the New Voices reading?
Yes.
Okay, so the New Voice is, again, another younger artist who has had a little bit of a career, but hasn't turned into a major name yet. And we've chosen someone, and they will come and read one of their new plays that they're working on for the audience, again, at a reduced ticket price. And then they will also be teaching a masterclass playwriting class. And then on Saturday morning, we'll have a conversation with the playwrights at the library.
Yeah.
So the two playwrights on Saturday morning at 10, that will be the 26th, right?
25th.
Sorry, 25th.
At Independence Public Library.
At the Independence Public Library, will sit together and talk about being a playwright and being a professional. So that's open to the public. Please come to that. And then Saturday afternoon is my favorite. At 4 o'clock, we're doing it this year a little bit earlier so people can come and enjoy the sunset. Up at Glencliff, we're going to have our Moonglow, our yes, Bruce?
You forgot to mention the tribute.
Oh, did I mention? I said the party's at 4. Okay, yeah, I got it confused. The tribute's at 4. Jeez, boy, who hired this guy?
It'll all be on the website, so if you are a little confused, it'll be all on the website. But
Lisa, why do you make me get up this early in the morning? Okay, I'm directing the tribute at 4 o'clock. I promise I'll be better at it than I am at this. So that will be our celebration of the honoree, Octavio, right? So that will be a relatively short theater-length program where you will get to see interviews with his professional collaborators over the years on video, interspersed with short bits of his plays from over the year performed by professional actors live on stage. So if you've never been to this, it's really exciting to watch. And if you have been to it, it's going to be a lot shorter than any of the ones that you've been to. Okay? We promise. And then after that, at 7 o'clock, that's the party up at Glencliff. We're, weather permitting, we're going to have a party out on the grounds. Cindy and Grant, again, took me into their home years ago and have supported me and supported the festival for years. And we're going to have food and games and music and dancing. And it's a really fun time because that's when everybody finally gets to exhale, relax, have a drink with each other, and really celebrate the week that went by. And that is also open to the public if you want to buy a ticket for that one. But that's going to be up at the farm. So we really hope to see everybody up there. Bring your kids or bring yourself, anybody who's interested in this and interested in helping out. Just seek one of us out, and we'll get you plugged in. Thanks.
Everything's on our website, ingecenter.org. It'll be posted next week. You can buy tickets and come tonight for a drink.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Always fun to have them come into our community and share with us all about the William Inge Theater Festival. So again, I want to plug the opportunity to come tonight to the museum, to the volunteer happy hour, and if you're not able to make that, be sure and find someone at the college and get plugged in to be able to help with the festival. Like I said before, we have 30-second splashes. And I have some people already lined up. I have Betty Jean Penrose, Tabitha Snodgrass, Lacey Bohr, Mike Flood, and Aaron Bunn. If you would come right over here and get in line, and we will give them an opportunity. But before I close out with the main part of our program, I want to remind everyone that on your tables should be some comment cards. So if you want to fill out one of those, if you have a really good idea for a subject matter to be covered at First Friday, or anything else you want to share with me, please let me know. And you just write down, you don't have to put your name on it, just leave it on the table. And we take those and we use those when we formulate future First Fridays. With that, I also want to thank our business sponsor again, Newkirk, Dennis & Buckles, for presenting, for paying for the breakfast from Annie Mae's, for providing us all the fun stuff on the tables. And also there's going to be an information table over here on the side so you can get some more flyers for your break rooms or your refrigerators. And with that, I'm going to give the microphone to Betty Jean Penrose. Pop right on right there.
Good morning. I am Betty Jean Penrose, and I am representing the fact that we have Miss Kansas coming to Independence, Kansas, March the 22nd and the 23rd. I think we have a beautiful picture of her. This is Hannah Clausen, and we are excited that she's going to be at Jefferson in the high school on the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, we are going to have a tea with royalty. And we're having a mother-daughter tea, but if you don't have a daughter, you can adopt a daughter. And if you don't have a daughter to adopt, you can bring a friend. But we only have 112 tickets to sell. We're going to sell them for $5. And Lisa told us that we could let you guys sign up for this today. And so we will be out in the foyer there. And I would really love for mothers and daughters, however that combination might be, to come and enjoy. Hannah will be sharing her testimony and her talent, and her mom will be with us as well. So I'm excited to see all of you ladies here so that you can let the word get out. We will have flyers, and we have a partial flyer here that we can give out to you today as well.
Thank you. You can just pass it on. Tabitha, slide on up here.
Good morning, Tabitha with Independence Main Street, and I am going to have a few minutes out here to sell our pub crawl passes. They are $5, and I can take T-shirt orders. I have no change and no cash, but I did bring my square. So the T-shirt deadline is Monday, so if you want a shirt, get it in today or first thing Monday morning. Thanks.
Thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Lacey Bohr with Southeast Kansas Works. If you know somebody who is looking for a job, we are hosting the 4th annual statewide job fair. That'll be taking place at 11 locations across the state of Kansas. Locally, it will be right here at Memorial Hall Civic Center next Thursday, March the 7th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We've got 40 great employers registered who will be here recruiting, and we are also hosting the the Youth Summit. We've got 100 16 to 24-year-olds registered, so that event is full, but we know for sure that there will be 100 16 to 24-year-olds in our community that day. So if you see them, welcome them to our community. They're from across the area. So thank you.
Thanks, Lacey.
Mike Flood here today with the Kansas Celebrity Hall of Fame, and I'm here to talk to you about Guitar Extravaganza. What in the world is that? Well, it's a concert and a competition, and it's all kinds of the greatest musicians and music that you could ever come by from the area. And it's going to be Saturday, March 30th at 8 p.m. at the ICC West Campus. Thank you, ICC, for that facility out there to have the Kansas Celebrity Hall of Fame in this event. It's going to be $10 each. It is limited seating because they only can seat about 200 people out there. And talked about the guitarists. They're some of the greatest guitarists in the area. And I'd like to introduce one. Chris Mitchell, would you stand up? And maybe you haven't heard Chris play, but he's pretty special. He really is. He's a friend of mine. I'm glad he agreed to do this. So Kansas Celebrity Hall of Fame Guitar Extravaganza, Saturday, March 30th, 8 p.m. Let's see you there. Yeah, there's a songwriters workshop in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. So if you're interested in songwriting, show up for that too. It's free.
I'm Erin Bunn. Is this close enough?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Kansas Children's Service League. We have our chairs over there. This will be our 3rd annual Cherish Our Children live auction and free pancake breakfast on Saturday, April 6th from 9 to 11 right here in this room. There will be more information in the newspaper and on our website, but we wanted to go ahead and get you some of our chairs, the 7 that we have turned in so far, so you guys could check them out.
And we might mention Jim Hayward is one of the artists, Tim Raglan. There are all kinds of great artistic work over there. Check that out. Go ahead,
Hi,
Andrea.
I'm Andrea Sitton. I'm with Eclectic Art Gallery. We've got 13 artists in our co-op. So we've heard so much about the arts this morning. There's so many different forms. And I am with the gallery arts. And this is we are flocking yards again. If you weren't flocked earlier this fall, you now have a chance. Starting this week, if we can get the flamingos in the ground, we are starting to flock. It's $15 to flock a friend or a foe, and then you can get flocking insurance for only $10 to protect you. But it's actually a lot of fun. I have been flocked by my, I love flamingos. If you don't know me well, I am obsessed with flamingos. But on the flip side of the fun and fantasy, the gallery is very serious about the arts, our art and reaching the community. And I've heard so much today. It makes me so proud to be a part of Independence. Thank you.
Good morning, Independence. I'm Jenny Soper, and I came for the first time last month. We just moved into town from Los Angeles, and it's very cold here. Anyway, I am setting up Magnolia Blossom Inn at our home at 501 West Myrtle, which is that big greenhouse. And we're still in the process of opening. The fire department came over and gave us what we have to do to make it all safe. And we've got our license, and things are going ahead. And I just wanted to put my face on TV here and let you all know that we're going to be opening our bed and breakfast for your family and friends and the Inge Festival people or whatever needs to be done. Thank you.
We're glad you're here, and thanks for investing in our community. Magnolia is a good name. It's been very successful.
Amen. Okay, I'm Sherry or Cher Parker, depending on the circumstance. My husband Dave and I are very excited about an opportunity, and we want you to save a date. Sunday, June the 30th at 6 p.m. in this hall upstairs will be a 20-piece big band playing a patriotic concert. It's a free concert with a free will offering. Veterans will be honored, all branches of the military. We want you to come. And this is a Tulsa Praise Orchestra from Tulsa that my husband plays in. And we are very excited they're coming to Independence to celebrate their 25th anniversary as an orchestra. And again, it will be a free concert. And I purposely got the email up here to make sure I'd stay on point here. The free tickets. You will be seeing in the media and so forth how to get your free tickets, because we are fairly, like 99.9% certain we will pack out the hall. So you need to get your tickets by either calling a phone number or getting on the website, which is capital R-I-N-G, capital S-I-N-G, capital S-W-I-N-G.com. So that's ringsingswing.com. And it may not be up today, but in the next few weeks, next few days, it will be up. And Bob Archer, the band manager, is coming to town today to sign the contract to do this concert. So we are super excited to have them come.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll get that on our calendar. All right. So thank you again for coming. Thank you to Newkirk, Dennis, and Buckles for being our business sponsor. Mark your calendars for First Friday in April, April the 5th. Have a great weekend, and thank you for coming.